sure most of you know what a CA does. Most of you must be having one. So this is basically a family-owned financial consultancy company that we have, and I'm representing reciprocity. In reciprocity, I'm representing this particular company. I'm also a partner in a CA firm with my father, which he founded about 3 decades back, and I joined him about 4 5 years back in this, and it's called Anil Kakar and Associates. So basically, these are all group entities. Just clearing it out. So okay, CACs basically. Well, the basic motto that we follow over here is so master your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. So not everybody can do everything, and therefore, what we usually try and tell businesses is do what you do best, leave the rest to the experts. Well, about us. So we offer both advisory and compliance. Advisory in the sense consultancy, if somebody has any issue, legality involved, where they want to be clear on what the law says on that particular issue. So advice, and compliance in the sense of undertaking all the legal formalities like filing returns and various forms, etc., that are required. So we undertake both. We have CAs on board, MBAs, and CPAs. So we have like a combined experience of over 3 decades. And we have established a client base in Delhi NCR over these last 3 decades. Okay, what is our USP? Well, valuable industry experience. We have so many people on board that come from different backgrounds and have their own niche in the area in which they service the industry. Then we do provide customized solutions. So, no business is the same. So every business has to adopt to its own particular line, what suits for it, what works for it, and what doesn't. Cost effective, yes, definitely, because again, has to be relevant to the business. We can't go beyond what they can offer. Confidentiality, that's the topmost in our profession. Flexible approach, we have to be flexible with everything that we do, so that we can incorporate the ideas of the management in the solutions that we provide. And lastly, innovative ideas. So basically, this is helping uh, startups or small businesses really go up the ladder. So basically, with all our innovative approach and different ideas and the unique combinations that they can try in terms of scaling up their businesses. So I would actually like to take you through. So I'm not covering the basic CA part over here. I'm sure everybody knows audits, etc., that a CA does. I'm going to be covering some very key issues that we have seen a lot of startups, new businesses, small businesses face over the years. And through these, I'm going to be going on to our service offerings. So if we talk about a new company, well, the basic problem with them is that they do not have a basic shareholder agreement. So something as basic as a shareholder agreement, a division of role and responsibility. Secondly, it's mandatory under the company law to issue share certificates to shareholders within a certain specified time period. A lot of companies do not know that, and well, for a lot of them, for a lot of private companies, it's just a formality. But then this is a very big formality that needs to be done, and not all owners are aware of this. ESOP, sweat equity are the new thing that are really every company is looking to issue ESOP, sweat equity, compulsory convertible debentures. Now, once you get into all these things, there are so many legalities involved in terms of multiple laws, not only one. There is company law, there's FEMA, there's RBI when you're getting funding from abroad. Taxation issues arise out of it. So this is again something that plagues the startups, new businesses, and any business looking to scale up, because every business needs funds, every business needs incentives to give to their employees, to retain employees. FEMA, RBI. Well, FEMA, RBI have a lot of compliances set in when you're getting money from abroad. So we basically assist startups with understanding what those compliances are and undertaking them. Because yes, you do get funding from abroad. You have a VC on board who gets you funding and everything. But how do you really comply with the formalities thereon afterwards, once you have got the funding? You have so many intimations to be filed to various departments. So we help startups with those as well. RBI mandates a lot of returns to be filed in case of if you have an investment outside the country or if you have an FDI in the country. Again, we help with all those returns. Secretariat non-compliances are plaguing businesses now. ROC is coming out with amnesty schemes every now and then because almost every company is defaulting on its annual filings on as something as simple as a director KYC. So secretarial compliances are another important area that needs to be looked into. Then, of course, comes in the taxation impact of all these restructuring transactions. Whenever you have a restructuring in the company, you have new shares being issued, you have a debt being taken, a funding coming from abroad. It has a lot of taxation impact. So, analyzing, understanding it from all point of views, and providing a complete solution as to what works. Lastly, your GST income tax laws in the country. You have monthly, quarterly, annual returns. You have tedious returns to be filed quarterly, consultancy on GST, everyday matters. So that is what are the issues that plague the businesses, and that is what wherein we come in and we help businesses achieve their compliances, and as well as be clear from every aspect. So basically a wholesome customized solution where we go into depth and understand all the laws that are applicable to them, and we help them achieve or comply with them, so remain compliant. Now, how do we help? So these are the basic service offerings that we give apart from the usual audits, etc. So secretarial compliances, income tax, international tax consultancy, GST, contracts and agreements drafting, again, something very important for a new business, advisory and compliance on FEMA and RBI matters. So I'm going to be taking them up one by one. Secretarial compliances. Now, these days, you have to, there's so many things. Now, okay, so I think a lot of private limited companies are not aware that they have to prepare minutes of every board meeting, every members meeting that they have. Now, who does all that record keeping for you? You can't do it yourself, right? Because you can't sit down, have the meeting also, write the minutes also. And this is a very important requirement because most of major businesses are private companies. And in private companies, since they're family owned, it's very important you whatever decisions you take for the company, they are documented and written. So a company, if it puts it in its resolutions, a board resolution or a members resolution, has it signed and documented in its file, that is the paper stamp. Nobody can question why you're doing this, why were these expenses, suppose I'm a director, I'm incurring certain expenses for the company and the company is paying me back. So all these kind of transactions wherein the owners or the related parties are involved require these resolutions as proof. Because once you go, eventually right now nobody's going to ask you, but later on if you go and get into any kind of trouble with the law or any kind of assessment starts in that particular case. So this is what provides us a backdrop. So this is a very basic requirement of having a minutes book to comply with in the first step. So every company is required to have a minutes book where everything is documented, stamped, and signed by the directors. We also do the usual annual ROC filings. Every private limited company or an LLP has to file returns with the registrar of companies every year. We do help in that as well. Again, ESOP, sweat equity. ROC has like a whole plethora of instructions, step-by-step, process which needs to be complied with. And if you miss out on one, there are huge penalties. So ROC levies huge penalties in case of defaults. So that is again where we help in. ESOP, sweat equity, CCDs, shareholder agreements are largely plaguing the startup industry as well. Because most of them are tech people who are in a rush to get money, become a unicorn, but in the end they forget these uh, compliances that they have to undertake. So that is again a very important issue that they need to focus on. In terms of income tax and international tax advisory, so no business right now is limited to the country. Most of them are international in some way or the other. So you have treaties, you have double taxation agreements. So we basically understand those for you and help you implement them in your business. Remitting money outside, getting money into the country, Form 15 CACB, you require a CA certification. We help clients do those we do those certifications for our clients as well. representations before the officers. So international tax, TP, they constantly go into litigation with the department. So we have that service offering as well, wherein we represent our clients and get their cases cleared, both in income tax as well as international tax. Both of them have different departments that you need to approach for. And of course, the day-to-day advisory, tedious consultancy. So now these days, the new laws coming up. There's a TCS that's introduced on sale of goods, a TDS on purchase of goods, which was not there before. So we keep you updated with all these upcoming changes, constant emails, reminders, and then help you implement those into your day-to-day working. How will you factor in? How will your billings be? How will your invoices be issued? So we basically go into detail. It's not just doing the compliance work, it's also keeping you updated with all the changes and helping you incorporate that into your accounting systems so that you don't face problems later on. GST. So GST is basically my core area. So GST, we have a complete offering wherein obviously we do the basic filings that are there in GST. And well, GST has no provision for revising a return. So GST compliance has to be one that has to be perfect. TDS, income tax, you can still revise your returns. Law gives you that opportunity. GST doesn't. The only thing you can do is show it as an adjustment in your next return. And well, that gives out a pointer to the department that something was amiss in the last return, that you had to do those kind of adjustments. So GST refund, a lot of exporters, people who have inputs more than their outward sales, they're stuck with refunds. So we basically get those refunds cleared for you from the department. Assessments and notices. I'm sure all of you must be receiving notices from the GST department, which says there's a mismatch between your 2A and 3B. So basically handling all of those on a day-to-day basis. It eventually requires just a reconciliation in the end. But yes, proper submissions have to be made to the department within the time frame specified. Also, GST is very time bound, and since everything is online, it can very easily be tracked. So I think earlier in income tax, notices used to come out offline. So there was always a question of when we received the notice. So 15 days is counted from when you received the notice, which was very hard to establish in certain cases and could be disputed. GST sends out an automatic email reminder to you, sets out a date. So if you miss out on a notice, you cannot even have a plea that I didn't get the notice. So you have no excuse not to respond to it, and they have to go online in a timely manner. We have clients who have got show cause notices for penalty, 50,000 general penalty for not responding to notices. Also, GST has certain very basic laws, which till now, if not everyone is aware. You are supposed to have your GST registration certificate at a very prominent place in your place of business. You don't have it, anybody walks in from the department, a straight away 25 to 50,000 general penalty goes to you. So those are the kind of small things that we remind our clients and update them so that they don't face those issues later on. Lastly, FEMA and RBI. Now, FDI, ODI is happening in the country like anything. Recently, the central government introduced restrictions on investment from countries have sharing the land border with India. So now what if people from, say, Myanmar want to invest in the country? You need to go to the CG, get approvals for those kind of investments, and only then can you bring in money. So we help in obtaining those approvals also. So there's a separate portal for it where you need to go apply, get approvals, and only then can you get share capital or money in any form into the country from countries sharing land border with India. So these compliances are also increasing on a day-to-day basis. FDI limits are changing, they're being revised. So what is applicable to any particular sector? So all those day-to-day consultancy is needed in FEMA and RBI as well. And while FEMA and RBI are very strict with the penalties as well. So well, quality advantages with our company, quality services, valuable ideas, budget friendly. So like I said, customized. A wholesome solution under one roof, analyzing 360-degree your business, and not only helping you with compliances and giving you advice, well, in fact, giving you advice for scaling up your business as well. What you can do and how you can do differently that, you go a notch up. But that's my father's niche, not mine, but yes, we do that. Next, the associations that we have. So I am currently the State Haryana Taxation Council State President of Wiki. Uh, so we basically plan to use this forum to send out our suggestions to the government for changes that they can make, or improvements that they can do in the law, uh, to really bring about more ease for all the taxpayers and the assessees. We are also on the panel of the official liquidator of the Honorable Delhi High Court. So any company that goes into liquidation, so basically we get those clients for checking their accounts and everything, so that the correct amount is paid out in the end at the time of liquidation. And we are active members of the CII, wherein we are constantly in touch with what's happening in the industry.